This podcast provides a platform that will share many different points of views that should empower you, uplift you, make you want to go out and do right. When you hear the term still a man, say, yes, I am. Still a man. Yes, I am. Still a man. Yes, I am. Let's go.
What's up, people? Welcome back to another edition of the Still a Man podcast. Tonight, we will be discussing, am I marriage material? So, I took the liberty of going on FaceTime and presenting this question to Facebook, but what happened, no one answered my question. So I tried to get the information from some old marriage couples, people that have been married a long time and that seem to be successful at it. But unfortunately, no one had any insight for me. So I went ahead and I did some research. I got a couple of videos and I got some tips. So we're going to get right into it. So I'm going to ask the youngest person on the panel, Mr. G. Lacey, do you think you're marriage material?
Well, yes, I do. I think I'm a very eligible bachelor.
Mm-hmm. And why would you say this?
I cook, I clean, I work. And there's a couple of things I don't do, but I do a lot.
Okay. Tanya, since you seem to be the only woman on the panel tonight as of right now, let me get your insight. What is marriage material, and do you believe that you are, and did you always believe that you was marriage material?
I always believed I was marriage material, but I had a lot of my own self issues I had to work through. And for me, marriage material is loving God, being faithful, being trustworthy, communication, unconditional love, accepting, not prideful, not a liar, not a cheater, that's someone I can trust. Yeah, we'll get more into it. That's the start off.
Okay, Timmy, do you think that you're marriage material?
Of course. But you got to be the right person. And, I mean, you don't never know when marriage. I don't even think that should be insane, because if the right person willing and y'all have a connection and y'all are deeply in love, then that doesn't necessarily mean that your marriage, that you have to be marriage material. I don't even believe in that either, marriage material. I believe that if you find the right person,
sorry I'm late,
you want to marry, then that's cool.
I have a question.
Okay, hold on 1 second. 1 second, Kevin. So if you're just joining us, we're talking about am I marriage material?
Yeah, I know. I can read. Am I marriage material?
Okay, and
can you answer?
Timmy's speaking right now. So as soon as Timmy's finished,
No.
I'll let you.
No.
Okay, go ahead, Kevin.
I want to know if I'm marriage material. Can you please tell me? You turned off my fucking camera.
So, all right. So we'll let Kevin get himself together, and then we'll come back to him. Bird,
that real?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's real.
Yeah.
Gregory.
Bird,
Am I marriage material?
yes.
I guess I believe I can be again.
Mhm.
Like Timmy said, the right person, but that would determine what my eligibility for marriage would be based on. The right person. I mean, I'm a little difficult, so it's gonna take a lot.
Okay.
But I'm okay if I'm not right now. I'm very okay with it.
Yeah. Robbie, do you believe that you're marriage material?
Yeah, I would like to believe I am, but I have to find someone that is probably my equal, that it all lines up. And till then, I'm just my material.
Okay. So, let's go back to so Tanya,
Yeah,
so what is your status right now? Your relationship status?
I'm married.
Okay. So you are going to be one of the experts, so to speak. So let's go ahead and ask you a couple of questions. The sharing time. So what made you believe or got you to the point that you was ready to be married?
Oh goodness. That got me to the point that I was ready to be married. I decided that I have my children, I have a daughter, and I have two sons. And I honestly got tired of being in relationships that were not producing anything and were not fruitful. I was married before, and that marriage didn't work out because there was a lot of characteristics about himself that didn't we weren't on the same vibe. I love God. I wanted to have a deeper relationship with the Lord, and they were still on the physical sense, on the worldly sense. I'm not saying that I'm perfect, because I have shortcomings. Every day is a battle, like we've been talking on here, between the spirit and the flesh. So there are times when I fall short. Man is gonna fall short every time unless he got the assistance of the Lord. But I came to the point where I wanted to be married because I got tired of showing my kids broken relationships. If they see broken relationships in the physical sense, how can I have them to have a steady relationship spirit wise? Because I wasn't steady spiritually, I was having all these broken relationships. So I prayed and asked God to send me the one He had created for me. He didn't come perfect. But with everything that you have to fight hard for, it's worth keeping. And during those trials and tribulations, you find out a whole lot about yourself to help you to become a better person. It's not all about that person being out in the street, you know what I mean? Not living up to the potential. He had the potential, but sometimes God bring people in your life and place them in your life so that the way that you're living can rub off on them, and y'all can come together as one. He's picking up some of your characteristics and your traits and your beliefs, and you helping him to be a better person, or helping them. I shouldn't say him, helping them be a better person.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you said this is your second marriage.
Yep.
What's different this time around? Like, what do you think it is about you that makes you marriage material? That this marriage is going to be different from the last? who are you today? What are you doing differently?
Oh, what I'm doing differently. I have a stronger relationship with the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
I'm applying the principles of the Bible to my life.
Mm-hmm.
My husband became born again because he saw that when I rededicated my life to the Lord, how my life was turning out different and being different, and that he could come to me for guidance and for for spiritual guidance, and to tell him what I knew of the Lord that he didn't know, and was able to have him come and join the church. So when he got his own relationship with God, he was able to progress and grow as a person and as a human being. And I could see that he had some characteristics about him. He thought he was thoughtful. He thought of me and my children before he thought of himself. He makes sure that we're okay. He loves unconditionally. He showed me he helped me to realize some of the faults that I had. Because I was prideful, not prideful, but I thought that because I was in church and he was still in the street, that I was at a different level than him.
Mm-hmm.
I was more advanced than him spiritually, and that I was always right. Because I had the more education, I had the more life, you know what I'm saying? But he taught me a lot about how to be street smart. When he got saved, he was teaching me some things about the relationship with God.
Okay,
we help each other grow.
So it sounds like that you're saying the best part of you now, and what makes you better material for marriage, is your relationship with God.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Bert, you want to share? You said you was married before?
Talking to me?
Bert.
No, Bert.
Okay, we'll come back to Bert. So again, what makes us marriage material? It is unknown to most of us until we find someone that we care about and that's going to care about us equally. So in order to do that, a lot of times we start dating. And when we're dating, we're basically like trying things. Like it's like a buffet, so to speak. You go there and you sample everything until you find something you like. And then when you sit down to eat, it's usually something that you enjoy, that you found that you like. So I'm comparing these relationships to a buffet before you figure out what you like. And I think that's what happens when you are trying to determine what makes you marriage material. So let's go to the experts. Let's watch the video. Okay, we must be having some technical difficulties.
Who that? Heard?
Welcome to Essential Think. If you ever wondered if taking the next step in your relationship, putting your signature on the paper and settling down is the right thing to do, then this is the video you were looking for. In the next few minutes, we will go through 10 major signs you are ready for marriage. You keep seeing your friends deciding to step off the singles market and tie the knot with their significant others, and the thought of getting married yourself has been running through your mind for some time now. However, you simply can't wrap your head around a decision of such magnitude, and although your relationship seems pretty solid, you're simply not sure if getting married now would be a good decision. Before we continue, you need to know that such thoughts are perfectly normal. Marriage is not for everyone, and there is no ideal age to get married. But if you're one of the people looking for a long-term commitment, you should figure out a couple of things beforehand. Getting married is a big decision and demands a lot of work, sacrifice, and responsibility from both of you, so it's always beneficial to analyze your thoughts and your situation and make sure you really are ready to take the next step. Without further ado, let us go through 10 key signs that are telling you you are ready to get married. Number 1. You understand the reason why. Being married can bring a certain social status to the parties involved, and it's sometimes easy to get caught up in thinking about your new social role as a husband or a wife. Maybe you simply want to have a wedding you've been dreaming of since you were a child, or maybe you want to join the club of married people that seem to be all around you. Or do you truly want to spend your life with the person you love? Think about the true inner motivation for your decision. Don't shy away from difficult questions and make certain that you're doing the right thing, because marriage is a perfect example of a long-term commitment, and your understanding of your own motivation is crucial if you want to get married and stay married. Number 2. You care about the marriage and not the spectacle. Having a wedding can become a huge public show, everybody getting dressed up, having the entire process perfectly planned, inviting a whole bunch of relatives and old friends to witness your shining moment. And the pictures, videos, Instagram highlight reels, your social media status would go through the roof. But beyond all the glory of your wedding day, you need to ask yourself what's the true reason for your decision to get married. If your focus is on the big party that's about to happen, all of your friends and family gathering around and you being at the center of attention, remind yourself that weddings last for hours, but a good marriage should last forever. Think about the everyday moments you're gonna spend with your partner when all the guests are gone and the celebration is over. If you still find the idea of marriage fulfilling, then by all means, go right ahead. Number 3. You are satisfied with your life experience. When it comes to age, there is no fixed rule on how old should a person be in order to get married and have a successful marriage. Some people get married immediately after high school and spend their life in a comfortable and loving marriage. However, this doesn't happen very often, and many couples that jump into marriage responsibilities at a young age struggle to make it work in the long run. Several studies have shown that it's best to gain some life experience before getting married, ideally after reaching 25 years of age. Being mature and having enough time to go through life and develop on your own is very important for your peace of mind later in life, and especially in marriage. After gaining some experience, you will be better equipped to know what you want to do in your life, as well as how to recognize a good partner and better handle the responsibilities of married life. Number 4. You have a strong bond with your partner. Back in the days when you first started dating your partner, your connection was based on physical attraction, fresh emotions, and fun. Every day you were discovering something new about each other, and the time went by a lot faster than it does today. If you're serious in your intention to get married, then your relationship needs to transcend the things that were keeping you together after you first met. Your bond needs to be strong, and you need to be there for one another, not only when you're having fun together, but also when life becomes hard. Being there for one another and dealing with problems together is essential for the longevity of your marriage. No obstacle will be able to hold you back if you are able to rely on one another. Number 5. There is trust between you. One of the ultimate preconditions for any successful relationship is trust. Being able to really trust your partner will allow you to get through any challenge married life might present you with, and it will serve as a foundation for a lifelong relationship. Trust comes with experience and knowing your partner well, their past, their ambitions and dreams, and their core values. Knowing that they will be there for you in good and bad days will allow you to focus on enjoying your life and not worrying about the fundamentals of your marriage all the time. Trust is also the main make or break element of your marriage. Without it, your marriage doesn't stand a chance. If you have any doubts concerning trust between you, you should probably reevaluate your decision to marry. Number 6. You are fully satisfied with your partner. Getting married to someone should mean that you love them for who they are and you're satisfied with the traits of their personality. If you're not satisfied with the character of the person you're about to marry and you're hoping that they might change after you're married, please reconsider your decision. The fact that you're getting married will not change someone's character, and you shouldn't rely on marriage to make things better between you and your partner. If you've been having serious relationship issues before, getting married is no guarantee that your partner will change or try harder or that your problems will somehow disappear. If you're hoping for this to happen, you most certainly need to take a break and rethink your decision to marry. Number 7. You are able to work out your problems together. Turning away from your problems will not make them disappear. You and your partner both hold the responsibility to resolve your issues together. Remember, sweeping your issues under the rug will not make them disappear, and it's just a matter of time until they resurface and come back even bigger and uglier. Getting married is not a solution for any personal problems you might have, and you need to reverse that mind frame and solve your issues before you get married. This will make sure that your communication is healthy and you're able to confront any potential problems coming your way, which is imperative for the survival of your marriage. Number 8. You plan your future together. At the beginning of a new relationship, it's perfectly fine to take things one step at a time and not look too far into the future. Having less responsibilities means you can pretty much go with the flow and deal with issues as they come up. But as your relationship becomes more serious, the demands and commitments will also grow. And this is where making long-term plans together becomes important. Where do you want to live? What do you want to do? Do you want to have kids, etc.? Staying on the same page and working towards the same goals means that you know each other really well. And that's what a long-lasting marriage is all about. Number 9. Your partner is liked by your friends and family. First of all, it's important to mention that your partner being liked by everyone is not an essential point, and it doesn't disqualify your partner in any way. The only thing that matters is obviously the fact that you love each other. However, after you get through the initial stages of your relationship and start thinking about marriage, having good relations between your partner and other people close to you becomes increasingly important. A situation where your friends and family don't like your partner might...
Hey, did you guys hear about that store online? One Stop Shop? EmporiumPlus.org. Go over there now, where you can find the latest fashions. And the Dr. Parrish Youth Serum, Still a Man, a Dr. Parrish Ladies First, SOS Support Our Sisters, and Envy Forever. Go, gravitate to the fashions that will make you look better.
It puts you in a tough spot where you are being forced to choose between them. In this case, you need to analyze and evaluate where the problem lies, because sometimes people who care for you might see something you can't, and listening to their opinion might be useful. And number 10. You have realistic expectations. Okay, so you've spent some time with your partner and you're seriously thinking about becoming married. By now you already know that life is not a fairy tale and that no one is perfect. This should be even more apparent if you've spent some time living together with your partner. Being married to someone means you need to have a universal approach to life and take the good with the bad. There will be times when your partner might disappoint you or appear in a less flattering light than it's usually the case. Knowing these things will happen and accepting them as a normal part of everyday life will make your marriage so much easier. We are all human, and having realistic expectations from your partner will make your life a lot less complicated in the long run. Alright, we've gone over 10 major signs you are ready for marriage. If you can identify these signs for yourself, then you're on a great track to marrying the right person. It's a big decision, and it's okay if it makes you a little nervous, but remember, knowing that you're ready for this commitment and being confident will give you an amazing starting point for having a happy marriage with the person you love.
Okay, so if you're just tuning in, this is the Still a Man podcast. And tonight we are discussing, am I marriage material? So, I believe we got some new people that just tuned in. I'm going to go ahead and ask you guys some questions, and then we're going to come back to Tanya because I believe she had a question, as well as Robert. So I believe we got Kiana that joined us. We got Deli, and we got Josie. So before the video, I asked everyone on the panel what makes them marriage material. So I guess it'll only be fair to ask you guys the same question. You want to start with yourself, Deli?
Sure. Good evening, everyone. Happy Tuesday. I've been married. I'm divorced. I failed. I don't feel like I failed, but it failed. I'm divorced, but I still have hope. I'm married to Jesus right now, and that's good enough for me. But I believe I'm marriage material. I have qualifications that would qualify me, I think, as a very good wife, such as, loyalty and trust and that compromise, I'm sure there's other things, but it's always been for me. Sex has never been one of my major parts of any relationship. I've never led that way, not even through looks, because beauty is within, and I'm attracted more to someone's heart and soul rather than the look.
Preach.
That's my opinion.
Okay. Josie?
I think I am marriage material because I'm me. And I also think that some of the things that Deli just described, trustworthy, I am able to commit with the right person that's willing to commit with me. I'm able to give my all. And I think that when and if that part to me that is missing comes along, then I want to be understanding. I want to be there through the good and the bad. So I think I'm marriage material because I have the ability and I am willing to.
Okay. G? Duchess?
I mean,
Got a problem with her mic.
You got to fix your mic.
No, she's in Matrix. Her signal is going crazy.
Okay, well,
can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Hear you.
Okay, so I had to remute myself and unmute. Am I marriage material? I think that's funny. I mean, I guess I don't believe in traditional things because I'm not a traditional wife. I've been married I just celebrated an anniversary of 21 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Wow, I didn't even know that.
Well, get to know it.
Get
to know it.
Yeah, all these years I've known you, I knew you was married, but I didn't know you was married that long.
Yeah.
Hey, that's
What's up? Thank you.
Now, see, but
hold on, Timmy. Let her finish. So go ahead, Kiana. What you said
No,
that
go
you
ahead, Timmy, talk. I mean, I don't believe in I'm not a traditional cooking, cleaning, stand behind my man and don't talk kind of wife. So in that sense, I don't feel like I'm marriage material. I mean, the mere fact that I've been married 21 years means I am marriage material, meaning I'm loyal. I'll stick with you to the end. We'll fight it out. We'll figure it out. It is us against the world. We have the somewhat same values. We believe in the same things as far as when it comes to child rearing, even though our child is raised. we believe in the same things. Definitely got to be on a political mindset, values, as far as what you believe in, because you like someone said, looks go away, the children go away. You have to be able to be together beyond those things.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Timmy.
Yeah, what I was gonna say is that with the two women who are married on the podcast right now, they build things from foundation. So everything, the trials and tribulations that they went through and they got through it, which made them be married as long as they have been married. You know, and I like to say this 3 C's, with connection, commitment, and conversation.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you get with marriage and other things. But if you don't have the connection and the commitment and conversation, because those 3 things are important in the marriage and in the relationship.
So you guys, I want someone to, again, jot those 3 C's down, because they're going to come back up later in the discussion. I like that, Timmy, the 3 C's, commitment, connection, and conversation. All right. So Tanya, as promised, you had a question, or you want to go ahead and ask it?
Hold on. Okay, I'm here. I didn't have a question. I had jotted down, I went through my Bible today in preparation for this. And I jotted down some characteristics of what you can find in a mate. And the first one is humility, sensitivity. Well, when you say, commitment, forgiveness, being able to be accepting, and my kids are here, so I'm kind of going through this.
That's all right.
Patience, unconditional love, and there was one more that I wrote. Hold
on. Earlier, it sounded like you was about to say obedient.
Yeah, but I don't want to be. When I was saying obedient, I was talking about obedient to your spirit, the desire to hear and do the will of God. That's important, you know. And it may not be important for a lot of people, but for me, what has kept my marriage together for 20 plus years is having God in the center of our relationship.
Again, congratulations. That's an accomplishment. That's a long time.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So but for me, that will be, you know, that might not work for everybody, but it's absolutely what Timmy said too, with the connection, conversation, and commitment. Without trust and loyalty and conversation and having God in the midst of all that, it's going to be hard work. Marriage is hard to begin with, but it'll be even harder without those things.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for the driving. You're welcome, baby.
Okay, Robert.
No, the question I had was off set. It's not in relations to what we're discussing right now. I was just wondering who was the person, Kevin, that came on that needed some advice or was wondering if he was marriage material, but he disappeared.
Am I marriage material?
So I would say this to the gentleman that logged in, and he, for some reason, got kicked out of the meeting. I would say, if you get a chance to review this video, or if you're still listening and you can't be a part of the discussion, I would say log in later into YouTube and type in S.A.M Still a Man podcast, and you will be able to watch tonight's episode and others and everything else that the Still a Man platform has to offer. And then you can decide if there's anything that we said or shared will help you out in finding out your the answer to your question, am I marriage material? Because I believe Kevin's asked, can I tell him if he's marriage material? I can't tell anyone if they're marriage material. You have to decide that on your own before making said commitment to someone else. You have to get to a level of discernment where you're comfortable with doing everything that you are asking everybody, your significant other or your potential mate to do. So that, I think that would be the first step. Can I do everything that I'm asking my mate to do? Can I be responsible? Can they hold me accountable for all these things? Will I ask them to do anything that I would not do myself? And if you can't do anything and everything that you're asking your mate to do, then you probably have some more research to do regarding yourself. There's more learning. But I want to go over some tips real quick. So these are a few tips for a healthy relationship. Now, you know what? Before we get there, let me just say this. There are different levels to this. Before you even get to the marriage part, there's again, you have to figure out who you are, what you expect from others, and what you're going to tolerate and what you will not tolerate.
That's called knowledge of self.
If you're young, a young person, I think that's the time where you should be taking the time to date, see what's out there. Don't just settle down with just anybody just for the sake of having a mate. Because a lot of times people, they feel like, I need a man, I need a woman. So any woman or man will do. They'll just settle for anything. And that is not good. Because when you start settling from the beginning, that's what you're gonna do throughout the duration of said relationship. So let's take time to find ourselves and explore, see what's out there, but let's be safe about it. Let's go into these tips. First one is spend time with each other. You know, the couple requires time together, you know, to learn about each other in order to grow. Kiana, how much time did you spend with your husband before you knew it was time to get married?
Too much time.
You know what? Be quiet, Josie. How much time we were together, I guess you could say 12 years before we got married, but it was never, I mean, I at a young age, I said I was not, I don't play house. I don't come from a family that plays house. My family gets married. We don't do that. So if this is not what you want or plan to do, then we should not be together.
So you laid it out right there from the beginning.
Well, I probably was way younger saying that, then I should have been saying it, but that's what I grew up in. I grew up in I mean, even though my parents got divorced later on, I know my parents remarried, my grandparents remarried, my grandmother was married, but they got so I know marriage as a couples of growing up. That's what I know and I seen. Now again, not all those marriages stayed together, but that's what I know from a young age.
Okay. Deli, how long was you with your mate before you decided that you wanted to get married?
About 6 years.
Tanya?
Yeah.
How long was you with your mates before you realized that you wanted to get married each time?
Okay, I have to be honest. The first time I got married was someone that I dated when I was just 15 years old. And I thought that I was grown dating this young man. But when I ended up marrying him, I married him because I already had a kid and I was looking for someone to help me take care of my baby. But my second husband, we was together for 6 years before we got married.
Mm-hmm. So you had different reasons for getting married on each occasion.
Yeah.
Okay.
The second marriage, I got married after 6 years because by then I had rededicated my life with God, and I told him I was tired of living in fornication. So we had to do something, or we had to break up.
Okay. So before I go into the next one, let me just ask all the ladies on the panel. When you were a princess before you became the Black queens that you are, did you know that you wanted to get married? Was that something, that fairy tale? Is that what you wanted? We'll go to Kiana first.
Now, I'm sorry, what was the question? Was it a fairy tale? I mean, I guess. I mean, somebody on this line had got me married earlier than I really was married. But we won't talk about
definitely speak on it.
Yeah, I think I was present at that wedding too.
Yeah.
I think the majority of us was present at that adolescent marriage.
So so I guess yes, marriage as an ideal has always been in
Hold on, I just
my
want to chime in. I remember too.
Yeah. Josie, did you?
Why would you want to call me, tap me in at this point in time when Kiana just clearly stole the show? I am telling you, I was going to bring that up. So, of course. I mean, who doesn't wake up one day and say, this is how my wedding's going to be. I'm going to have this, I'm going to have that. I mean, I mean, if it's not in every woman's head, I don't know where they were.
Okay. Deli?
I was a fairy tale girl. I thought I was a princess. I wanted to be married. I wanted children and a family. That's how I grew up. Back in the day in the 60s, they were having like 10 kids. Everybody had 10 or more kids. So, I wanted a husband and a big family and do the damn thing. Take care of the family, take care of my husband. That's how I saw it. But as I
don't want to interrupt Deli, but you know what? I still have that.
Mm-hmm.
So now y'all can go on. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Deli.
Yeah, that's all I wanted to end it as. I was a fairy tale girl. I wanted to be married and have children, a big family, like I saw it growing up in my family and all the families around me. That was like normal. you know?
Okay. Tanya?
Well, I came from a broken home, so my idea of marriage was me having a husband with kids and having the type of family that I didn't have growing up. That was my idea with the wedding and all of that, walking down the aisle and all of that. But unfortunately, I went to the justice of the peace twice. But I still want to have the wedding.
Okay. So I guess we're in agreement that all the ladies on the panel, they wanted to get married when they was younger. Everybody wanted to walk down that aisle, meet their Prince Charming, and live happily ever after. Yeah. All right. So I guess the next thing that you need to do is learn to negotiate.
Hold up. What about the men?
I was about to say that. What about Prince Charming? Like,
okay.
What do they
okay,
got?
Okay. All right. So if y'all just missed that last one, I said something about, let me just go back and then we'll hit the men. So basically the next one is learn to negotiate conflict. So, okay, let's be fair. Let me ask the men on the panel, those that are still with us. We're gonna start with the junior of the panel, Mr. Lacey. Do you want to get married? Timmy, do you want to get married? Robert, do you want to get married? Yeah.
Do I want to get married? Yeah, one day. You have to be business bound, and they got to be the right material for me. And I hope I'm still going to be the right material for them. If it's later on in life, I don't know. I might be content being just with myself.
Yeah, you see, ladies, there was a reason why I asked that question only to the women, because you see, there was only one man on the panel that answered that, other than, outside of excluding myself. Bert, are you still with us?
Yep.
Okay. Do you want to get married?
A part of me says hell no, and a part of me says anything is possible if love is in the air.
Good answer. Good answer.
Bullshit.
And yes, I want to be married in Africa with 10 wives.
Well, first of all, before you can get to that point, there's some other things you have to do.
What? You said 10 wives?
Yeah, yeah. So he, again, how many wives he wants to get married?
I'm down with you, G. Let's
Africa,
roll.
and he wants 10 wives.
I'm creating a new kingdom of Wakanda.
Yeah, you got to come back to reality. That's the first thing. Next.
You in the United Kingdom, United States.
So I think this is something that is essential in every relationship on every level. You must be respectful to one another at all times, not just when you're getting your way, at all times. So you all, if you don't do these public debates, that's a great thing. If you do partake in public debates, now that's let's simplify it. In layman's term, that is airing your dirty laundry, where some women and men decide that public is the forum to act the fool with their mate and start discussing things that should have been discussed behind closed doors as opposed to the public forum. So if we're doing that, that's something that we need to stop doing. Well, let's stay there for a minute. And you can just jump in. We'll go back to Bird. Bird, have you ever been subjected to that? Whereas you find yourself in the middle of a public debate with your significant other?
I've been in a situation where public debates, I don't know if they're called debates, but public chew me out. Absolutely. Public debates where I choose to air my stuff out in public, I do not engage. I try not to entertain, but there's been many of occasions I've been just called out like I ain't shit in front of people. Yes, I've been there.
And how did you deal with that?
Well, I got some advice from an old friend, and eventually, if you just be quiet, eventually they'll shut up. And it works.
Good answer. Good answer.
Let them get it out, and eventually it's over.
Right.
Okay. So, Timmy, do you partake in public conflict?
I don't like that. Because whatever forms we have, it could be discussed behind closed doors. Now, if you trying to get attention and draw a bunch of oohs and ahs and people looking, wow, what's going on? So in actuality, you trying to embarrass me. Now, that's the wrong thing to do. Because now I'm going to show my ass out too.
Uh-oh.
I don't think you trying to embarrass me. That's no good.
Well, might I suggest something? Instead of partaking in said conflict, perhaps you should learn to exercise what Bird said. Just let him get it out.
Don't get me wrong. I've learned over the years, just don't even say nothing. Just because they're gonna, if you have a reply, it's gonna be continue on longer than you want it to. So
or just disengage.
Yeah.
Or just disengage. Tap out. Tap out. Because sometimes when people have an audience, they do the extra.
Yes. So I like to say, antagonize them a little bit, where you patronize them. Okay, you won. Yep, you did. Yep, and everything that
1-0 me.
Keep on saying, yep. That pisses them off.
Excuse me.
But that's my only way to disengage, by saying, yep. And
I don't mean to interrupt. I don't mean to interrupt, but I have to log off because my grandkids is here and they keep harassing me.
No worries. Thank you for your participation. We'll see you.
Thank you.
Yes, yes.
Oh, my people, the verdict's in. Dr. Parrish, you sure still a man and be forever a Dr. Parrish ladies first. SOS, support our sisters, even if you support our sisters only. No pun intended. Scurry yourself over to EmporiumPlus.org, where you will find the latest fashions.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to ask Kiana the same question. Kiana, do you partake in public conflict?
Do I partake in public conflict? No. First of all, I feel like our generation doesn't do public stuff. Like I would never. Well, I'm not on social media anyway. But I would never put myself on social media to air my things. Now, if we were out in public, I mean, we're older now, so what I would have done years ago. I wouldn't necessarily do now. But if you show your ass out in public, I'm not going to wait until we get home to let you know that you showed your ass in public. So
See, you see, Dave, see, I'm trying to see all the
Well,
same ways that I say.
that's two for if you show out, then we show out together. All right, Deli, how do you feel about public
I'll
conflict?
take it a further. If someone else is being, because usually that would be because of a female or a male. So if a female is disrespectful to me and you don't check it, then I would have to bring it to everyone to make it known that that's not going to happen. But again, we're older, we don't really have those problems. So the older me would have showed out, been in public, shouted out, but I'm still not everybody in my business type of person.
Okay. Deli?
I have to agree with Kay. We're older now. When I was married and younger, my husband did that to me. It was not, it was an abusive marriage. So I did just that. I would let him say whatever it is that he needed to say, and I'd keep my mouth shut. But being older, I think it's the mate. I would never be interested in being with anyone that has to perform that way. You know what I'm saying? Like, as older people, we all have roles and we're adults. And so that's not the way to handle it. So I think as a partner, I wouldn't be in that situation. I wouldn't deal with or have a partner like that.
Okay. Robert, do you do public conflict?
Well, back in the days, I would try my hardest to avoid it. But if it happened, I'm gonna honestly tell you, there's two ways I handle it. Either I sat there and smiled, and that made it worse. If I didn't even say anything, like there was an instance, it was, for example, we left the movie theater this one day, had a good time. I wanted to go out, finish having a good time with my family. They wanted me to come home because the night should have been over. And as a family, we should have spent it in the house, or maybe they was gonna go out and leave me in the house with the kids. So the first thing happened was popcorn flew, drinks started flying. I was to get out on the highway, and I wasn't going nowhere. So that was in the public, and we managed to get home. And I just don't approve of any of that. It's like very childish, it's embarrassing, and it's kind of disrespectful to both people.
Right.
So, I gotta ask you this question. You said the popcorn was flying and the drinks was flying. Was this in the movie theater or on the way home in the car?
Okay, let's get detailish. Let me tell you. I said, well, I don't care what you're saying. Just drop me off. I'm going. Pow, I got smacked with popcorn. I said, damn. Okay, you want some of your popcorn? I took my popcorn, just, drenched it with it, threw it on her. And she said, oh, you want to be disrespectful and throw your popcorn on me? I said, you smacked me with yours. Then she smacked me with her drink of soda. So now soda's on me. And I was like, oh, shoot, let me put up my, my feel good. Couldn't roll that up. She said, get the F out the car. I'm like, we're in the middle of the highway swerving, going from lane to lane. I said, we got to stop this. We're going to both go to jail. We got it together, got me to the house, and they went out still. And I got I got stuck in the house with the children.
So let me tell you right there. Let me just tell you right there. The next tip says to learn more about yourself. That definitely applies to you and that individual, and that clearly shows you that you were not marriage material as it pertains to that individual. But I want to be fair. Josie, do you do public conflict?
Only if it's warranted. I'm going to piggyback off of Kiana. When I was younger, it might have been. No, when I was younger, listen, when I was younger, I was with someone who was much older. I didn't have public displays. And it was no need to, because I wasn't subject to that. However, as I got out of that relationship, and moved forward, I do believe, I want to say maybe like 20 years ago, maybe like 15 years ago, to be honest. I might have had an episode out in the public, and it just happened. And it's because you put me in that position. But once I got a grip of it, it was more or less like, no, I don't want to be on display like as such. You know what I mean? So I had to get my stuff together and just move forward. However, if I have a confrontation because I feel like someone's trying to disrespect me or put me on blast and no one's not seeing it and the episode takes place, then, that's something that happened. I'm not out to be on display as like, oh, F this and the boop, 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 boop. So I would hope that any male figure that I get with or involved with doesn't put me in a situation like that, because it's all about respect. And I respect myself enough to know when to walk away and when to display. So I'm going to leave that right there.
All right. Mr. Lacey, do you engage in public conflict?
Well, yes. Let me tell you about this time I was on the front porch with me, my friend, and my girlfriend. And my neighbor asked to use the microwave. And then she went, you better ask that girl for some money. Oh. No, serious.
What in the world?
I mean,
what are you talking about?
Seriously,
I'm gonna go to the next.
I was at a restaurant with my girlfriend and things got a little crazy. I don't know what was going on, but then she went to go to the bathroom and I don't think she ever came back. I had to get on a bus. It was a terrible fight in public.
Yeah, see, this is the difference between what Kiana said earlier. Our generation does not partake in such behavior like that. Yeah, so I guess it's in agreement that no one's for the public conflict. Are we in favor of that? I mean, is everybody saying nay to public conflict?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So let's move on to the next one. The next one says that you should take time and explore intimacy. So let's be clear about this, guys. Intimacy is not just about the sexual aspect of it. They're talking about getting to know them, like knowing what makes you feel good, emotionally, mentally, physically, verbally. So she said you should take time to explore the intimacy before committing to that level. So I guess if you can't connect intimately, then it's a no-go.
Absolutely. It's what Timmy said. You gotta be able to communicate and connect. I mean, like, what is this about? If we can't even converse without feeling like we got hate for one another, how are we getting in this app? Let's talk about that.
So I have a question. What happens when, because I've experienced just being sexually attracted to somebody, not a relationship, not nothing else, just the sex. That's it.
Yep.
So I think we covered this.
I don't know,
before. You have to you have to learn to connect outside of the bedroom, because if they can't connect with you, your mental intellect, then you're going to come up short. Because
all the time.
Right.
What happens?
Kelly, are you still with this individual?
Oh no, listen.
Oh no.
Sometimes people just want to hot pocket a quick bing.
Yeah, no, this is not me, but I'm just saying, it's just purely sex. It's not a relationship. Like they're content. They don't want anything else. So they're not dissatisfied because they were just solely looking for that and they're pleased with that.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not one of those.
Well, if that's
Josie,
what you know, if that's what that person wanted, then
I'm not one of
gave
those.
what that person wanted. From what I'm getting, that both of y'all was on the same page saying that we don't want no relationship. It's just a sexual attraction.
Yes, there are relationships just like that.
That was the relationship. It was sexual.
It's a sexual relationship.
Right. But that situation,
it's what we call
what happens when someone else finds,
you guys are buck buddies.
What happens when one of the other, or one of you guys finds someone else to be the a new relationship on that level? You're left in the cold.
So again, that here, I think this is the answer to your question. The simple answer, Deli. The next tip is to explore things of interest. So again, if your only interest in this individual is sex, that's all you're gonna get.
Exactly.
That one's simple. And if you're, and again, if you're just building your relationship simply on the basis of sex, then what happens when that fails?
Because that goes to what I was talking about, the 3 C's. Conversation. Conversation definitely is important. So if you're not telling me, because I can't read your mind, if you're not telling me what you want out of a relationship or what you want to do with what we're doing, then that's what it is. It's just what it is. But conversation is a part of that. And you already got the connection because you have a sexual connection, but that's it. There's more to just a sexual connection.
So again, as we morph into our grown and sexy stage of life, and we become more seasoned and more mature, what happens when the sexual tools start to dysfunction, malfunction? They're inoperable.
You don't have it.
Now what do you have, because you didn't build on anything else other than that?
Exactly.
You gotta have something for sex.
That'll never happen because they got tools out here for that now.
So I would say
it ain't like back in the days where they didn't have it.
So I would say
you'll find yourself by yourself, but you'll still be missing something.
Yeah. So I would say to everybody on the panel, if you don't want to be put out to pasture, then you better find other ways to connect with your significant other and pick you somebody that you can connect with outside of the bedroom.
Exactly.
I mean, it's got to be more than the bedroom.
You got to learn how to massage that mental.
That's right. Now, try reading the book with that individual. I remember a young lady taught me a long time ago, and I found it very attractive. I was I was turned on by having a woman read to me. So it was like, you read a chapter, I read a chapter. That was beautiful. I thought that we was building. That was
sex. If you can stimulate my mind like that, you're in.
Thank you.
It takes that first. You got to stimulate my mind.
Well,
get my mind.
And this is why you can speak fondly of people that have, see, everybody, a lot of times people teach you something that you want to teach to someone else, and your next relationship, they get you ready for the next person. So shout out to all the ladies that I dealt with that put in time, their servitude, they dealt with me. I appreciate you. Y'all helped mold me into the man that I currently am. And for those of you that did not contribute anything with me, well, you ain't worth speaking of anyways. So we'll go to the next question. create a spiritual connection. Yes. So, Delhi, well, I'm saying the majority of the people on this panel, they have a faith-based foundation. So everything starts and ends with your spiritual connection with the Lord. So at EmporiumPlus.org, our online store, we have T-shirts to say God is the plug. We also have Team Jesus. And again, Robert, where can they find these items?
Could you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, you can.
You can find all of those items he just mentioned on EmporiumPlus.org, where you will find all our fashions from SOS Support Our Sisters, S.A.M, Still a Man, Adopt a Parish Ladies First, and Adopt a Parish and Envy Forever.
Okay. All right. And as Timmy said before, I told you we was gonna come back to this, and this is the next one. They say improve your communication skills. So, first thing what you need to do in an attempt to build better communication between you and your mate is you got to be empathetic. You have to show some empathy. You have to learn to relate as opposed to debate. Because if you're always debating, you're not trying to take no time to learn anything about this person's feelings and try to put yourself in their shoes. You're not truly showing any empathy if you're always finding something wrong with them and able to point out what they're doing wrong. You need to focus on what you're doing wrong in that sense. Because if you're always pointing out their shortcomings, what's wrong with them, then you're not paying attention to what's wrong with you, and an extension, what becomes wrong with us or we. Okay, so let's talk about love language. How many people know their love language? Do you know what your love language is? And if you're not certain about what love language is, let's go to the next video.
What's going on, guys? Today's video is going to be on the book The 5 Love Languages, The Secrets to Love That Last by Dr. Gary Chapman. So have you ever been in one of those relationships where you think you're doing everything you can to please your partner, but they're still feeling frustrated and unloved? I mean, you're giving them compliments, you work hard all day to bring home the bacon and pay the bills, you give them gifts, and you even do some chores around the house, but they're still feeling unloved. I mean, what more do they want, right? It's incredibly frustrating and annoying. Well, the reason why they aren't feeling loved, in short, is that you're not speaking their love language. The premise of the book is that people don't give and receive love in the same way. Most of us think that the way we want to be loved is how others want to be loved as well, but this is not the case. There are in fact 5 love languages. This is huge because if you're not speaking the same language as your partner, then you could be missing the mark completely and not even know it. It's basically the equivalent of a British guy trying to talk to a Chinese guy. It's not going to go well because they're simply not going to understand each other. If you're going to have a strong relationship, you have to know how you and your partner both give and receive love. The 5 love languages are words of affirmation, quality time, receiving gifts, acts of service, and physical touch. Let's go through each one a little deeper. Words of affirmation. Do you like hearing I love you or compliments or meaningful words above all else? Are insults especially detrimental to your relationship? If so, then this is probably your love language. If you discover that this is your partner's love language, make sure you give them genuine compliments and tell them you appreciate them often. The second love language is quality time. Do you value full and undivided attention above all else? One-on-one time with the TV off, the cell phone put away, and no distraction is what makes this type of person feel loved the most. Canceled or postponed dates and failure to listen are especially hurtful to this type. If this is your partner's love language, learn to listen better, make eye contact more, and spend more time with them instead of at the office or glued to your cell phone. Ask them what they'd like to do with you, and then schedule a date to do it. Don't assume what they like to do with you, ask. The third love language is receiving gifts. Sure, we all like getting gifts, but this type of person loves receiving gifts above all else. Gifts to this type of person mean everything because it shows the love, thought, and effort that went into the gift. I'm not talking about materialistic or the cost of the object, but the thought behind it. Missed birthdays, anniversaries, and thoughtless gifts tear this type of person apart. The cost doesn't matter, it's the thought. It can be as simple as a card or some picked flowers or a note saying that you love their eyes. The fourth language is acts of service. Chores around the house or errands that ease the burden of responsibility are the loving characteristics of this love language. This can be as simple as taking out the trash, paying the bills, doing the dishes, picking up the kids from school, and so on. Broken commitments and laziness can make this type feel unloved. And lastly, physical touch. This doesn't necessarily mean sex. If hugs, cuddling, holding hands, and thoughtful touches are the most important thing to you, then this could be your love language. If their physical presence is crucial to you, then this could be an indicator as well. Any kind of neglect or abuse would destroy this type of person and their relationship. So which one do you most strongly identify with? Keep in mind, you should only have one primary love language. Sure, we may like all those things, but one of them should resonate with you the most. Really think about each one and imagine your partner doing each one in turn and see how you feel. If you're still having a hard time, let's look at a couple ways to figure out your love language. First, examine your childhood. How did your parents express their love to you? What made you feel loved? That may have translated to how you now express and receive it. Another way is to ask, what's your first instinct when you want to show someone you love them? Trust your instinct. And the third way is to look at how you've been hurt deeply in the past. What hurt the most? Exploring that can help shed light on what your love language is. If you still don't know, go take the quiz over at 5lovelanguages.com. Now that you know your love language, think about these love languages from your partner's perspective. Can you identify their love language? I highly suggest you ask them to take the quiz instead of assuming what it is. Remember, what we think is an act of love may not be seen that way by your wife, your husband, or your partner. It really is vital that we learn and understand their love language if we want to make them feel loved. So, find your partner's love language and speak it. Do something special once a week to fill up what Dr. Chapman calls their love tank. Your love tank is like the gas tank in a car. You want to fill it up and keep it full. When your tank is full, your love life will be at its best, and a full tank can keep you going through trying times and relationship difficulties. If you're not consistently filling up the tank, you'll be running on fumes and eventually you'll burn out. Now, if your relationship's already running on fumes, then it'll take a while for the love tank to get full, so keep at it, keep speaking their love language, and over time, your relationship will start going in the right direction. And another big takeaway from the book, Dr. Chapman explains that love is a choice. It's something that you can control. It's a feeling, and even if you lose some of those feelings over the course of a marriage or any other long-term relationship, you can choose to do the actions first, and the feelings of love will follow. This sounds a little counterintuitive, but it works. So that's it, guys. Quick recap. First, you need to find out what your own love language is. Could be words of affirmation, quality time, receiving gifts, acts of service, or physical touch. And then find out what your partner's love language is. Don't assume what it is, talk to them about it. Then make a commitment to do something special each week, something that ties into their primary love language. Alright, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like and subscribe. And
Hey, did you guys hear about that store online? One Stop Shop? EmporiumPlus.org. Go over there now, where you can find the latest fashions. And the Dr. Parrish, U-Serm, Still a Man, a Dr. Parrish Ladies First, SOS Support Our Sisters, and Envy Forever. Go, gravitate to the fashions that will make you look better.
Okay, guys, before you even answer, let's just take 30 seconds and let that marinate and think about it. What, or should I say, which one of those love language pertain to you? All right. Bert, you still with us?
Yeah.
Which one of those apply to you?
I think I have more than one, but I'm gonna go with the affirmation.
Okay.
I need to hear some positive feedback, and I'm very well into physical touch as well, but I don't believe that is something when they say look back in your childhood. I don't believe those are things that I've learned to have into my language. Those were things that were more of a lack of.
Mm. So that's what he was also referring to, could be one or the other. Either you got it or you didn't. And as an adult, you require more of it. So if it's something that you didn't get it, then yes, that speaks volumes as to why you would be someone that requires affirmation, praise. Now, so all you single ladies out there, if you're listening, Mr. Bird's love language is affirmation. He requires praise. He wants to know that you appreciate what he gives to you. Next person, Brimage, what's your love language? Robert?
His mic ain't on.
Okay, we'll come back to him. Kiana, what's your love language?
I know he's gonna come to me. I would say quality time. Yeah. I mean, gifts are nice. I like them. I appreciate them. And yeah, probably not even acts of service. That wouldn't do anything for me. So I guess it would have to be quality time. Now, given that our time is different, it has to be a planned quality time.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely quality time.
So again, Kiana's is quality time. And again, guys, if you remember last week, I mentioned something about me time and we time. So that we time would definitely rank up there with that quality time. That's where the quality time will come in. You require your mate to be present to have some we time. So let's keep that in mind. Timmy, what's your love language?
I'm gonna agree with Kiana with quality, because I don't need your praise. I know, because I'm that confident, and I have self knowledge of myself that I don't necessarily need your praise. And as far as different materialistic things, they don't mean nothing to them. Like Kiana said, they're nice, but that's not necessary for me. And quality time is very important. That's part of connecting. And then while you have a quality time, we have discussion, conversation, and we're communicating and we're building. That's how relationships last, from communicating, connecting, and conversation, which help you build your foundation. And then it becomes solid, where other trials and tribulations that you went through, it doesn't matter, because your foundation, you'll always get through it, because you have that foundation where you communicated and you had conversation and you connected on quality time.
Okay. Deli, what's your love language?
Mine is physical touch. I'm a very affectionate person. Very much so. Sometimes words don't have to be spoken, but when you're holding hands or when you're cuddling, words are being spoken internally.
Okay. Right to the point. Mr. Lacey, what's your love language?
Yeah, I'm on physical touch and brain connection. I like to be able to talk. And I like spiritual connections, to be honest with you.
Just one. You got to
Well,
pick one, Gregory. Just one.
well, spiritually, I'm going to say most of my relationships, I feel like I was drawn to the person. So I feel like it's spiritually.
Spiritual's not one of the languages.
All right.
So, all right. So we're gonna let Gregory go back and think about it. And and again, for those that are unsure, you can go to that Google and you can type in love language and you can take a test and you can see, you can become more certain about it. Josie, what's your love language?
Y'all totally lost me.
What is your love language?
I'm gonna say what Kiana said because during quality time, I'm going to get the other 4.
Right. Exactly.
Okay, so that's my answer.
Okay. So I guess it's only fair for you to tell mines. So I am touch. You have to touch me, I have to touch you. You have to be able to touch me in every way. Mentally, physically, emotionally. Yeah, I'm about touch. If we're not in touch, I take that as a form of neglect. That is a deal breaker for me. Game over.
But that comes with quality. Spending quality time. That comes with this.
I took the test, so I know based upon the test, I'm the touch person. So Timmy, you want to tell us again those 3 C's?
Yes. Communicate, connection, conversation.
Okay. Now we're going to stop right there, Timmy. And I'm just going to give you guys something to grow, to help you grow. So, again, it's real easy. You have to teach people how to treat you. And once you teach people how to treat you, then that will be essential for building a relationship. If you keep that in mind, teach those how to treat you, then everybody will be well off. So that's our time. This has been the Still a Man podcast. Thank you for joining in, tuning in, and I'll see you guys next time. God bless you.